Factz Ova Feelinz, the podcast. I lost count.
38, I believe.
38. Salute to that. It seems like it's been forever, ever.
You remember who your last guest was?
I'm going to give myself a moment to try to guess. No.
Rich Trapper.
Hey, that's crazy. Hey, look, let me show you something, Alex.
Yeah. How's he doing, though? I haven't hollered at him. Actually, I don't have his number. Oh, okay, cool.
The most recent person I've been texting. That's crazy.
Yeah, he was.
Shout out to Rich Trapper. He sat right there in that seat you sat. So that was Juneteenth.
Yeah.
Because he was out here Juneteenth weekend. So, yeah, got so busy doing so many other things. Shout out to Cliche 93 TV, my boy Scrap. I was blessed to be able to expand and get a location for the Black Box. We invested in a lot of equipment.
Got a cool spot out there out in the valley, we'll say.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Munchie B came in and was doing this thing here. You expounded with the Hispanic homegirl. You had the Street Scholars. I was moving around a lot. And it got difficult scheduling guests around the expanded schedule, and I was running back and forth to the valley, like you say. I just kind of lost the momentum of, we was doing straight politicking, so I didn't really feel, I feel like I was scratching my street TV itch because I love being on this platform. So I still feel like I was scratching that itch, but now that straight politicking as far as my participation is going to be no longer, I appreciate you reaching out to me to get this Factz Ova Feelinz thing back cracking. I appreciate you for being my co-host today, too.
Well, on the last episode of Straight Politicking, I said we have a guest host, but hopefully we'll get Spider back in the near future.
Well, you know me from day one. I was always willing and open to never cease or to return, whatever. But I'm not hanging, waiting on nothing. You feel me?
Yeah.
Machine in motion. But, yeah, I appreciated the straight politicking experience. Had a great time creating those pieces of content here.
And I'm only so powerful. I don't know if I can mediate everything, but
I mean, everything ain't to be mediated, man. When a man decides that he no longer desires to be a part of something, you got to respect that and let him do that.
And I try to stay away from all of that stuff.
You definitely do. I often think we don't get as much traction on some of the content because you don't clip and title the most salacious part to try to draw that. I respect that though.
Well, I might have somebody do that for me though.
Okay.
Yeah, I might have a person that is good at that and could do that. And then if someone says, hey, we didn't like your title, well, bro, I didn't even do that title.
Hey, shout out to my title. When I do the titles, he just do the clips. I do the titles. Go ahead.
But I used a YouTube title generator for a few of the titles, but sometimes I forget to use it. But
was it Opus or something other than Opus?
It was different from Opus. Okay. I forget. But you wanted to talk about your last case that you got charged with, and we were just talking off camera that I figured out in retrospect a way you could have defended yourself in that last case you had, Spider, using something called the Racial Justice Act, which is new to me. I've had 2 Racial Justice Act cases. Both of them came to me in 2024. I just testified in a case in Long Beach where the defendant got caught with a gun. He got pulled over in a car, similar to you. And part of his defense is saying that he was racially profiled in Long Beach.
That's great. When you were mentioning that actual law to me, I definitely wanted to open with this because it triggered so many thoughts in my personal experience. Because when I first was referred to the lawyer that handled my case by Nicholas Rosenberg, shout out Rosenberg, good friend of the circles. The first time I texted him and said, hey, I got caught in Burbank with a gun and a pistol. I'm black. I think I was profiled. My white attorney's response was, Burbank? Yeah, no shit. So when you told me the basis of the law, I was eager to find out how long this law has been in place because you said it's a new law.
Yeah.
And I think I definitely could have benefited from that. I think my lawyer dumped me, bro.
Well, it could have been that he didn't know, even though you're an attorney. Not every attorney is going to know of all the new bills, all the new laws, especially this is still pretty new, even though it passed in 2020, the Racial Justice Act. Is it fair to say this is a new thing, 2020?
Definitely new. Yeah. My case was caught around summer, mid-year 2022. And for a lawyer that is aware of the fact that Burbank, in his assessment, is a profiling area, I think it's his due diligence when I give him my bandicas to get updated on all the laws that may be relevant to my case.
Now, I don't know if people were using RJA in new cases, because I'm looking up the bill right now. The Racial Justice Act of 2020 prohibits the state from using race, ethnicity, or national origin to sentence people. And it also says people can challenge their convictions or sentences if they can prove discrimination in their case. So maybe a lot of lawyers were going off of that thinking, okay, this is for old cases. But I recently learned that you can use RJA for new cases, pre-conviction.
Are you just realizing it's being accepted as an argument, or has someone been successful arguing it?
I don't know if anyone's been successful, but I was part of that argument, and it's still pending right now. It hasn't been decided. And we did the argument in front of a judge, no jury. So this is for a judge to decide if any sort of racial bias was used when a police officer pulled someone over. Now, we all know in Burbank, Torrance, Culver City, let's just say those three cities because I know those off the bat. If you're black and you're driving in a vehicle at nighttime, there's a good chance you're getting pulled over and they're going to come up with a reason why they pulled you over.
Definitely.
Now, if you're black and you have a black passenger, the likelihood of getting pulled over goes up exponentially.
Definitely.
In those three cities. And probably, and let's throw Beverly Hills. I've never been pulled over in Beverly Hills, but I know Beverly Hills operates the same way. And Beverly Hills is not too far from here.
Okay.
Now, imagine if it's four of y'all in the car driving 4 deep through one of these white cities at night. The likelihood of getting pulled over just based on that goes up even more.
Don't let your radio even be on. Just on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And here's another good thing about the Racial Justice Act and traffic violations is that the body cam footage that the police shoot can be used as evidence against them in terms of the certain things that they say, certain things they didn't say, certain questions they ask.
That's another reason why I'm even more convinced I was dumped, because I actually had a suppression hearing in my case where we tried to get the case thrown out based on no probable cause. And we had body cam footage that I wasn't privy to. My lawyer was able to go through it, and he played portions of it, and he questioned the officer that was on the stand, and we lost the hearing. Ended up taking the deal.
Well, that's not uncommon.
Let me land.
Okay.
Let me land. However, once the case was over, I personally received the body cam footage. Just on my channel right now, Spider Loc Most Easty Black Box. Go check it out.
So you got the footage after?
After.
Okay, go ahead.
And I got a chance to view it in its entirety. And I saw a very key moment that the lawyer did not utilize that I believe could have gotten the case thrown out based on what you just said. This body cam footage can be used against them. And what took place in my case was to justify the pulling me over. They said they pulled me over for the tents and no front license plate. However, on the body cam footage, you see these officers doing their thing. I'm in the police car, and you see them say, "Is there a front plate?" I said, "I don't know. Let me go check." So how did you pull me over for a lack of a front plate if we have you right here on the camera still investigating, inquiring, and finding out if there was a front plate? And the lawyer totally missed it.
So you found that out after the case was over?
After I took the deal, yes, sir.
Okay. So, see, that's the problem. You got to go through all your discovery. The video footage is part of your discovery. And you should have went through all your discovery before you made a decision. And then you have to determine.
I never even received the thumbnail until I had to go to his office to get a thumbnail with the footage after I took the deal. I never had it.
Well, I don't know what to say. It's unfortunate that the attorney did not share all that information with you so that you guys can make a more informed decision about whether pleading out or going to trial is the best thing to do.
Definitely. I definitely agree with you, Alex.
Now, I don't know if you was willing to go to trial. Like, for example, the client that I'm working with, he was willing to go to trial, but he lost his suppression hearing as well. He did the same thing. That got denied, and then he said, you know what, we're going to trial.
Look, it was 10 up until trial. I gave him that 10. It was 10 more if we had to go to trial. Only reason I would be willing to go to trial is because they was trying to send me to prison.
See, that's the problem where you might want to plead, right?
Yes, when they dropped it down to a non-prison sentence, Even though it's a janky term, joint suspension, at this age and the way I carry myself and the lifestyle I live, I trusted myself to take a joint suspension. When I was living a life as a criminal, I would never take a joint suspension. But in lieu of the midterm, which was a 3-year or 2-year prison sentence, I decided to plead out versus going to trial and risk getting the high term.
Okay, yeah. And then in the example that I'm using with the client that I'm working with right now, he has no prior convictions too.
And this is a gun case?
It's a gun case.
Where is he? Where?
Long Beach.
Wow. That's another one you probably want to put on that list sometime too. Long Beach don't play.
Yeah, Long Beach don't play. I don't know if I'd put him up there with Torrance, Culver City, and Burbank, but Long Beach don't play because you got Signal Hill right there. You got a predominantly white community in Long Beach.
Yes.
But yeah, he doesn't have any prior convictions, so that puts him in a little bit more positive position than you.
Right.
They're using your convictions from the past against you.
Yes.
And that's why you're looking at, what, 3 years at max or something?
Yeah, I think nowadays the max on a pistol, like 16, 2, and 3. I think that's what it is.
So yeah, the Racial Justice Act is a new act that a lot of people are using. And let me just read a little bit here. It says people can challenge their convictions or sentences if they can prove discrimination in their case, which is kind of hard to do, but you could argue it. Violations of the RJA include bias, discriminatory language, and disproportionate charges or sentences. The law recognizes that both explicit and implicit bias can harm the criminal justice system. Some judges and prosecutors don't follow the law. It can be difficult to get the evidence and data needed to make a case. And some counties refuse to provide the information needed to implement the law. So right now there's a lot of pushback by prosecutors, in RJA. Man, I was on the stand in this RJA case from about 10:30 in the morning, and then we had our lunch break, came back, and was on until 3:15. That's a significant amount of time. And this is a relatively minor case. In murder cases, I'm on the stand for like an hour and a half at the most. I was on the stand for probably like four hours.
What could they possibly have you discussing all that time?
Stuff that had nothing to do with the case. They brought up my Instagram posts. How many likes does this picture have, Mr. Alonso? You get a lot of clients based on your Instagram page. Just really questions that have nothing to do with. There was a lot of objections.
How much time were you being questioned by the opposite lawyer versus the lawyer that was?
Okay, so the defense attorney, I was on the stand with the defense attorney probably from like 10:30 to about let's say 11, 30 minutes. Let's say 11:10. She took up the rest of the morning, 11:10 to noon, and then came back and 1:30 to 3:15.
To me, that indicates that whatever you represent for the defense is very important, and they trying to tear that down.
Yeah, they were definitely very aggressive. The amount of aggression from the prosecution didn't match the seriousness of the case. Usually the federal prosecutors are the most aggressive. And I did a federal case about 2 months ago, and I know what to expect.
Right.
I'm like, all right, do my prayer, and let's go to battle. But I wasn't expecting this in an RJA hearing without a jury, just in front of a judge, on the stand for almost 4 hours. It was absolutely ridiculous.
And the motion was denied.
I don't know yet,
okay.
Because the defense had another witness after me. And then they have closing arguments, and hopefully by this week we'll have a decision on that. But yeah, the RJA would have been something you could have used in your defense because it happened in the city of Burbank. Here's another thing with RJA. You're allowed to bring in data. So let's say we have all of the traffic pullovers in Burbank in the last 2 years, and we see that a significant amount of them are black people. Let's say 30% of these people that they pulled over are black, but the city of Burbank only has 3% black residents. That means they're pulling people who are just there for business, driving through in the vicinity. So the data is what proves the bias.
You know what I look at in the overall big picture? what I went through that night caused me to appreciate my employment so much better than maybe it was nothing about the letter of the law and all that. Because I don't think I was appreciating it until it was almost snatched from me, bro. So maybe it was more of a life lesson for me in it than just, the actual experience of getting fair justice.
But also, you shouldn't have your gun rights stripped in perpetuity because of a prior felony conviction. So I feel like you should have a right to have a gun in your car when you're cruising around.
I definitely agree, man. Do you think that's something that be realized feasibly in my lifetime?
Absolutely. I think that we already saw it with the Boosie case, where they don't want to punish a person for the rest of their life for an old conviction. It was a non-violent conviction, but usually any felony conviction, you lose your rights to own a gun legally.
Right.
So we see that there is some movement towards allowing a person that has a prior felony conviction to have their gun rights restored. But of course, it's based on what your original conviction was. Of course, I don't think they're going to let you get it back if you have any sex convictions or any sort of if you use the gun in the case, no.
I believe if you actually use the gun to harm someone or to commit a crime, then maybe it should be more strenuous. But just being in possession of one or committing a crime that did not include a gun, I don't think that makes sense, bro.
Did you hear about the UFC fighter named Cain Velasquez that shot up the car of a person that allegedly molested his son?
Former UFC heavyweight champion and Kofa High School alum Cain Velasquez pleads no contest to attempted murder. Velasquez entered a plea of no contest in a San Jose courtroom today to felony attempted murder, assault, and multiple weapons charges in exchange for a lighter sentence. It's the latest twist in the case involving the 42-year-old former fighter. Velasquez was facing an attempted murder trial for an incident in February of 2022 when he allegedly shot repeatedly at a man accused of molesting his son. Velasquez instead ended up wounding the man's stepfather after a high-speed car chase. As a result of the plea, the premeditated murder charges against him will be dropped, and he will no longer face a mandatory sentence of life in prison with the possibility of parole.
And he followed the car and aired the car out.
I sure did.
And boom, bro had to go to jail, man.
Yeah.
This was like maybe 2 or 3 years ago. I think he pled out and got a sentence without jail time.
Oh, well, then they looked out for him.
Yeah.
Because it's crazy. I'm pretty sure he was Caucasian, correct?
Cain Velasquez? No, he's Mexican.
Well, I really want to say I'm sure he wasn't black. Because I also remember way back in the day, I think it was the 80s, I think it was a karate teacher, took a boy after his father trusted him to go to karate class, and I think the little boy came home with some blood in his underwear or something like that, and he found out the karate teacher was doing something to him. And I think he actually took his son out of the state, and they found the son. They was extraditing the karate teacher back across the country to come to court, walking him through the airport. The white man stood on the phone booth, waited till they walked him by, domed him, dropped the gun, threw his hands up. You don't remember that?
No.
Oh, that's some real.
What year was that?
It's like the late 80s.
Okay.
Yeah, it was a straight, regular, no gangster, straight white dude. His son got fucked over by the karate teacher. He did no jail time. That's what made me mention it. So, yeah, I don't.
Well, I don't know if Cain Velasquez was sentenced, but I think he pled guilty. They said he'll be sentenced in 2025, so that may not have happened yet. So I'm not 100% certain.
Okay.
But yeah, that was a pretty crazy case. But he was a professional boxer with no criminal history that saw the person that allegedly molested his kid, because that guy wasn't convicted. He was out on bail for molesting his son.
I think the law should take that into consideration,
man,
and be extremely lenient on Mr. Velasquez.
Well, the people were out there protesting on Cain Velasquez's behalf. Yeah.
Sometimes you gotta give the people what they want, man. Yeah. Vigilante justice is not totally prohibited in my book.
So yeah, he hasn't been sentenced yet. I don't think 2025. But I don't think they're going to send him to jail, because obviously he pled guilty or pled no contest knowing, I guess he talked with his attorney, and they have some sort of discussion on what we're gonna get you.
That's exactly how I thought when they tried to make me believe Young Thug pled guilty without any indication of what the sentence was going to be.
They had to have some backdoor conversations to say, look, if you plead guilty to this, we're going to give you that.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely.
But, of course, we don't know. We're just watching
We're not posting those.
Yeah. So, but, yeah, I would love for the people out there to learn more about this RJA because many of us have been through the system because of racial bias.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why it's retroactive. So even if you got convicted of a case, even if you're sitting in prison right now and you believe that your case had any level of racial bias in it, you can file a motion.
So tell me this, what triggers something like that? Are there people lobbying for these type of things?
Well, yeah, they actually have in downtown LA, there's a team of public defenders that are just focused on RJA cases. So I guess they go through the computer system and they find the cases and they reach out.
What triggers a change like this in the laws?
Oh, that was a bill that was passed. So it had to be an assemblyman or a senator here in the state of California.
Shout out to that motherfucker. Whoever you is, man. We often hear about the laws getting more strenuous and making it harder on us in general. But to find out someone behind the scenes is pulling strings to make things more fair, that's kind of refreshing.
And, of course, the governor has to sign off on it as well. So Newsom has to sign. I believe Newsom has to sign off on it. But let's see here. It says here, California prohibits the state from seeking or obtaining criminal conviction or imposing sentence based on any person's race. I was trying to get it. Here we go. Assembly member Ash Kawla from San Jose is RJA's primary author. So Ash Kawla is one of the persons behind this RJA. And let's see what Ash Carla looks like. Let's pull up.
That's crazy because I wasn't going to blast him, but the lawyer I said that dummy, his name is Carlo.
Do you think Ash
Sprigger.
Is Ash Carla a male or a female, you think? It's a weird name.
Oh, yeah, because the Carla made me think of
Carla's the last name. The first name's Ash.
I think Ash is still male. That's male. Because it would be Ashley. You wouldn't stop a female's name at Ash. It would be Ashley.
You're absolutely right. There's Ash Carla, 53 years old, born in 1972, from San Jose, representing the 27th Assembly District. He has been the primary author for the Racial Justice Act.
Right on. Carla, a non-melanated individual. Salute to him, man.
Yeah, but he has to have some sort of background to understand that this racial justice is a serious issue. He went to Georgetown University. He went to UC Santa Barbara, and he is a Democrat. He was born in Toronto, Canada, but he grew up in California, I believe. He's been in San Jose for the last 37 years. He's 53 years old. So, yeah, he's been here since a teenager. And he's Canadian American. He's identified as Canadian American. Ash Carla, tap in. Actually, you know what? I think I might want to sit down with Ash Carla just to ask him the motivation behind this Racial Justice Act.
That would be interesting.
And what was he thinking? Like, what was the chance of this even passing and getting signed and becoming actual real law? Mm-hmm. All right, well, in retrospect, man, you had action.
I had action, man.
And that video cam is really the same thing with my boy in Long Beach that I just testified on. Most of the evidence is the body cam footage. And here's another thing. In this case, we have the body cam footage of every single cop. So we got different angles.
We have multiple angles.
Okay, you have multiple angles? Mm-hmm. Okay. Mm-hmm. So how many cops eventually came on the scene on yours?
I'm just guesstimating from looking in the back of my mind, maybe about 4 vehicles, 6, 7 cops.
Okay.
And they were having this I was driving my son's car, which is a souped up Pontiac G8, I think it is. They don't make them anymore, but it's like on the white boy side of things, it's a super cool kick-ass car. But my son just loves that style. It's lowered, big pipes, it's loud. I hate how loud that motherfucker is. I was trying to be low. But when you read the license plate, it comes back to CDC because he's a correctional officer. So they initially pulled up on the side of me, bro, to my, hey, nice car, with the most friendly. But as I rolled my window down, they seen what I looked like. Everything changed.
Everything. Plus, I think you said you had a blunt in your mouth.
I had a very small piece of the tip of an end of a piece of marijuana I had smoked way earlier, and it was hanging out the tip of my mouth. But this thing, I rolled down windows, no smoke. So it wasn't like I was smoking. It was just literally dry, sitting there just on the tip of my mouth. It wasn't like I was burning it.
And they probably put in the report that they did smell marijuana because either you were smoking, and plus that they showed the bag on their Instagram post.
Oh yeah, but I mean, it wasn't like I had a whole.
It was a nice size bag.
It was a pound.
Yeah, okay.
It was a person, like a small person sized bag of weed in the passenger seat.
Damn, that was a whole pound, huh?
A whole pound. Well, I had it probably for like 3 days, but it started off as a pound. Yeah.
Okay, so did they put that in the report that we smelled marijuana as a reason for the search?
Well, I remember we tried to debate marijuana not being a reason for the pullover, and the judge making it clear that's not a reason they stated.
Okay, they didn't
The
put that.
license plate intent. It came up, the blunt, but then we tried to argue the blunt, and the judge, I feel like it was Mickey Mouse court, bro.
Okay, but you drive through that. You still drive through Burbank? All
Oh,
the time.
definitely,
Yeah.
man. Definitely. Shout out to 4 Extras and Brick Baby. I might be going to Burbank pretty soon.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah.
Let's talk about that.
Well, I don't know if they had a reaction to.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. I already know.
Yeah. So.
Adam is definitely gonna want to bring you up there to talk.
I really
about
don't give a about talking to Adam though, but I'll go holler at the Crips though.
Okay.
Yeah, neighbors.
But if that's the reason why they want to bring you up there, you know how I feel about that. I think we've already talked enough about that on the internet.
I definitely agree. I really have zero interest of being in that building, but I am glad to see the homies up there. You know, when 4 Extras first came on the scene, it was tension between him and Brick Baby.
Yeah.
And then recently it's been tension between Brick Baby and myself. I don't appreciate that type of tension amongst homies. So to see it all over with, everybody was looking for Brick Baby and 4 Extras not to be able to coexist, to see them to be able to make it work. I applaud that. So regardless if it's talking about that or anything else, I will be willing to go back up there to politic and holler at the homies.
Yeah, that's cool that they were able to all iron out their differences of opinion and come together. And I'm assuming that also includes Spody Face, even though we haven't seen him lately.
Yeah, he's incarcerated, but you know they like bread and butter, man. They're inseparable.
Is he gonna be getting out soon?
Yes, I believe so.
Okay.
And I just like to remember and recall, now that the homie up in that building doing his thing, just remember when he couldn't get in that building, I opened my doors for him the same day. Him and Spody Face tried to gain entry into that building. They weren't capable, even though he was talking to the owner of the building, the boss, Adam himself. He turned them down, and I opened my doors for him, even though I wasn't even planning on be streaming that day, because that's what homies do for each other.
And then you also had Spody Face on a really good episode of Factz Ova Feelinz.
And free the homie Spody Face, yep.
A few episodes before the Rich Trapper one.
Yep, and he's been to the new Black Box and sat down with myself, Odium Slim, on multiple occasions.
Damn, there's a lot of neighborhoods up at No Jumper. Because imagine that when Crip Mac gets out, he's going back up there.
That's going to be dynamic duo.
He's going back up there.
It's going to be the cold trio, but I can imagine Crip Mac, 4 Extras back together creating content at the higher level. Because they've been together before 4 Extras really established itself, and Crip Mac wasn't even at his height. But I can't wait, man. I'm anxious to see what that's going to look like.
I think we talked about Crip Mac's release on a previous episode of Straight Politicking, but I forgot what we calculated. But was it 2026 or late 2025?
I believe it was the 5.
Okay.
I think it was the 5. But it might be the 6. If it was the 5, we probably would have made something about that because of Crip Mac. It would be more memorable.
Yeah, but he's getting out soon.
Yeah, soon. I seen Lupe say a clip recently. I think Adam asked her, and she said something like 12 months.
Okay, yeah, that's going to be crazy.
Yeah, it's going to go up.
Up there at No Jumper with Crip Mac, Brick Baby, 4 Extras, and then occasionally you might be up there.
Anytime the homies call, I'm going to pull up.
All right, your boy TDE, Top Dawg Entertainment.
Is there a black successful man can get in and out the game without these type of allegations being thrown upon him?
I think Samuel Jackson has lived a career without any allegations, and he's in his 70s now. And bro has done more movies than any other actor.
So is he just addicted to the set? Because he don't need no more money, man.
Nah, he don't. But I think he's been in more movies since 1990 to the present, he has done more movies than any other actor. And I don't think no one's ever tried to smut him out over the years, right? Let's go through a few. Let's see.
I was thinking Denzel.
Ving Rhames, Denzel. Denzel ain't nobody. Hey, Denzel's been with his wife for decades.
Yes.
And I don't think bro messes around. I don't think he does drugs. I don't think he messes around with women.
Well, it definitely has appeared to be that way, and I wouldn't want to suggest anything other than that. So
yeah,
salute to that.
But
Black love.
But we have seen our boy Eddie Murphy gets dragged through the mud a few times.
3 times.
Yeah.
Man.
Red Fox.
Are you taking it back?
I'm just thinking that IRS case.
Oh, so yeah, we're gonna go outside of when I said these
Wesley
type of
Snipes.
allegations, I was thinking about the touchy-feely, anything of that nature.
I'm thinking anything criminal. You know?
Anything criminal. Wow, yeah. Oh, wow.
Like Wesley Snipes on the tax stuff.
So I guess you consider this a tax crime. That's criminal, yeah.
And then he even said that I don't believe in paying taxes.
Damn.
But I don't know if he ever had to do jail time over that.
Wesley?
Yeah.
Yeah, he went to prison.
They sent him to prison.
Yeah, that's why shout out Sticky Fingers. My nigga Sticky Fingers got to be Blade because Wesley had to go to the pen.
Wow.
Yeah.
They did my boy Wesley Snipes. And for a nice little run in the 90s, your two major black actors was Denzel and Wesley.
Wesley was that nigga.
Yeah.
He made black cool as far as the actual black. He made that shit fly.
They had a nice little competition going for him.
Yeah.
But it seems like that derailed him. And, of course, Denzel ascended to, the throne.
The top, yeah. He definitely did.
But no, I think there's a few brothers out there that know how to navigate this.
Ice Cube, if we gonna go no criminal.
Yeah, Ice Cube has never been in trouble.
None. Squeaky clean.
But Dre's been locked up a few times.
Yes, he has.
He's been shot up one time.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, hey, I was just thinking, Remy Ma's son caught a murder case, which is bizarre. And I was just watching the new OJ Simpson documentary on Netflix. It is amazing.
How could anything related to OJ Simpson still spark interest, for real?
Man, they did a documentary like no other OJ Simpson documentary ever done before. I think it's 4 parts.
So is it pro, anti, or neutral?
Man, it is neither. It is
neither pro, anti, nor neutral?
It's if they show all the evidence that he guilty. They show all the evidence that he's innocent. They talk to both sides. They got Carl Douglas, who was on the defense team. They talked to Ronald Goldman's sister, who hates OJ. They got who was the other prosecutor? That was Marsha Clark and Christopher Darden. They got an incredible interview with Christopher Darden. And Christopher Darden, I don't know, Christopher Darden believes he's guilty, but Christopher Darden also knows they screwed up. So he's on both sides. And the way he answers the questions is, I believe OJ's guilty, but I believe this trial was effed up.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's what I was trying to tell you with another conversation we had at one point. Just because somebody gets found guilty or not guilty, I don't allow that to indicate to me whether I believe they did it or not.
Well, yeah. And then
the technicalities of law, the improper way the law can go inside the court, all that can indicate guilty or not guilty, but the person's actual guilt or innocence can still be, undetermined.
And then they had the most controversial person of that entire trial. They interviewed him.
Let me guess.
They interviewed him.
Mark Fuhrman.
Damn. And they asked him about all the racist stuff that he said in the past.
Oh, that must be good then.
About using the N-word with the hard ER.
What'd he say?
They asked him, are you racist? He said, I ain't even gonna sit here and say I'm not, because that's not fair to the people who believe I am. I'm not even gonna try to even debate that.
Wow.
I was like, that's deep.
Wow.
He didn't sit there and say, I'm not racist. I just said a few inappropriate things. He did not go that route.
Wow.
He basically owned it.
Wow. They ask him about planting evidence?
They did. That was a huge part of, I believe, part 2 or part 3, the planting of the evidence. They even had a juror in this documentary, one of the jurors. So it was incredible. Even if you think I know everything about this trial inside and out, but it was still an incredible 4-part series.
I ain't gonna guarantee. I might have to check that out. Tell me this: before Eazy E passed, do you recall him making appearances in public with Mark Fuhrman?
No, I don't.
Press conferences. You think you could put Eazy E name, Mark Fuhrman name in a Google search real quick?
Well, tell me about what you think.
Because I thought you know so much about things of this nature. I just knew you was gonna be like, yeah, because I was gonna ask you what was that about. So I don't know what it was about. That was gonna be my question.
No, I'm not familiar with it, and
I'm pretty sure it's gonna pop right up. They was on a campaign together, but if it doesn't, we can go on, keep it pushing.
Yeah,
I don't want to get hung up on it. I really thought you was gonna be no off the tip of your dome.
No, I don't see anything on page 1.
All right, you could leave it.
But at least this TDE case is just a civil case attempt to get.
It's a money grab, man.
$48 million.
They hope they could put that pressure. They hope these niggas bag so big they would prefer not to deal with it and settle sign. That's what they hoping for.
Well, now you first started this segment asking about a black man can't make it in this country, but this is a civil case, and there's nothing to stop a person from filing. Like tomorrow morning, we could wake up and somebody suing Alex Alonso and Spider Loc.
But remember, you made it criminal in general. And I tried to tell you, my initial thing was about putting these type of specific allegations on a black man in entertainment. Game has the allegation. These specific. Russell Simmons is running from him. Well, Puffy is dealing with him.
Russell's running from a criminal case, and Puffy's dealing with a criminal case.
But I'm talking about embedded in it are these freak sexual undertones of all the ones that I was talking about.
Yeah, I don't know if the sexual stuff is if there's a bias towards black celebrities with the sexual cases, because when we got the Epsteins and we got the
not to say they don't have those.
What's the other guy that got maxed out?
Put it on Bill Cosby. The names keep just popping up.
Hey, at least Bill Cosby got his conviction overturned. Man,
shout out to that.
Yeah, Bill Cosby been home, and
R. Kelly.
Man, R. Kelly, he got what, 30 years?
30 piece, bro.
Damn.
For just being too horny, it seems.
Hey, I don't understand. What was the interest in Aaliyah? It seemed like everybody wanted Aaliyah. What, DMX?
I could only imagine.
R. Kelly?
I could only imagine she was mature, far beyond her age.
Dame Dash?
And Jay-Z.
Jay-Z?
Yeah.
No, I said DMX, but I'm not 100% sure DMX. But for sure, Dame Dash, Jay-Z, and R. Kelly
had deep interactions.
And they seem to all be in love with Aaliyah.
Hey, look, if you listen to Can I Come Over and 4-Page Letter and Rock the Boat, you would not imagine she would be so young. So I guess the sensuality must have been more mature and ripe than someone of that age. Like they just couldn't handle it, and they just that into. I don't know what it was.
Well, the only thing that I would believe that would make a man that in love with this woman is that if you had sexual interaction with her,
not just the desire to do so,
not just the desire to do so, not just being attracted to her, but you had an experience with her that was so memorable.
The Bible calls it, you know her.
I'm not saying that all three of these guys did, but they definitely have. There's definitely information that these three guys were in love with her.
Yeah, and just the whole dynamic of that trio of the dudes with that one female, it's weird.
Well, we know R. Kelly did because they were married, weren't they?
Yeah, they were married.
So
she was 15.
So we know that there had to be sexual. I don't know if Dame Dash has come clean with that, but he talks about her in high regards.
And he weighs he gives a lot of credit to his fallout with Jay-Z to the fact that Jay-Z was still cool with working with R. Kelly, and he felt like R. Kelly had violated Aaliyah.
Yeah, so
I don't see when I look at her, I don't see, I mean, she's beautiful, rest in peace, bless her beautiful soul. I don't see everybody falling head over heels and having all fights either. But the music, if the person could match the music, I can see how someone could be enthralled in a person that could feel like those songs. Because her songs is sexy, sensual as fuck.
Yeah, I definitely in the past have found myself attracted to women that had a talent as well. They're already attractive, but you're also a singer
Yes.
or a writer. You do something else
Yes.
that makes you even more attractive.
Yes, definitely. Indeed.
So Aaliyah did it all.
She did. Dance, sing, act,
Yeah.
look good.
Hey, but what I found interesting about this case is that whoever the Jane Does are, it's two Jane Does. They're naming all the Tiffeths. Anthony Tiffeth Jr., Brandon Tiffeth, and Anthony Tiffeth Sr. It just doesn't even make sense to me.
And this world has gotten so sensitive, man. A dude just trying to put his Mac down could be considered official now, bro.
And if you doing your Mac and you just touch her arm or touch her
Yes.
forearm,
Or the first no is just not cut and dry. And I'm not. Look, I'm a girl dad. Don't get me wrong. I got mothers and aunties, but there's a certain type of approach that an alpha male can have that I feel is not offensive, that can cross blurred lines these days.
yeah, let me pull up some of these allegations.
Now, you took the word. I was just going to say, Art, what are the specific allegations? That's what I was about to ask you.
Well, one of them has to do with drinking alcohol. Have you heard that one? But it's a harassment case. It's not the same type of case that we just recently talked about. The one the Jay-Z case with the Jane Doe.
Mm-hmm.
She's alleging rape and sexual assault.
Yeah.
This doesn't have any of that. So I don't know if they're trying to make it seem more authentic. Let's not go completely, ham on them.
Yeah.
Let's pull it back a little bit because we still gonna get the same amount of money.
We heard so much extreme scenes these days. Like, let's not overkill.
Hey, that might be part of the strategy.
I believe so.
That might be part of the strategy in the way they are filed this. It's a sexual misconduct case.
Do you think it has anything to do with Drake being sore about the way things are working out between the two camps right now?
I really think it has to do with the way 2024 went with all these sexual allegations. Diddy,
TD
Cassie,
Jakes.
Jay-Z. Oh yeah, TD Jakes there's something weird about that dude. I hate to say that, but
Oh God, I agree.
I was just listening to his sermon the other day, and I was just like, none of that is biblical,
Whoa,
bro. None of what you said is biblical.
Thank you.
He just speaking there like from his own understanding.
That's what they pay for.
And I'm waiting. My dad used to say this all the time. Count how many times he opens up the Bible.
If it's when he first began it, that'd be it.
Yeah.
If that much.
Man, but there's some good preachers out there that know how to run game. They'll have that Bible in their hand the whole sermon, and they ain't speaking
Still ain't
nothing.
You true.
They ain't speaking nothing, and they got that Bible in their hand the whole time.
Right.
All right, but it says here that the Tiffeths, a woman accusing Top Dawg Entertainment of sexual misconduct has responded to the label heads calling her suit a shakedown. So I guess one of the Jane Does decided to come forward. Linda Luna, one of the women involved in the suit, so she ain't a Jane Doe no more. Now
That's what I had thought.
they're gonna go deep on Linda Luna.
What?
Okay, uploaded a couple posts speaking out against the label's accusations, and she said accusation that she and Aya Al-Tahiri never worked for TDE. There's like this fine line on, do you work for StreetTV? Do you work for No Jumper? Mm-hmm. There's always this, there's not clarity on what it means to work for someone, to be a contractor, to be a partner. I don't care about none of that.
In the industry, yeah, that is a lot of time vague. But for this particular case, I think it's clear cut. They were not employees, and these ladies just putting this as a part of their money grab. I think this is just all part of the scheme.
It says here, never worked for TDE. Never worked for TDE could mean like Top Dawg never employed you to be an actual employee of TDE, but maybe you did do some work for TDE as a non-employed person.
I don't believe giving a job is work. I believe some groupies that was hanging around,
Yeah.
got their heart broke, thought that whatever association, affiliation that they actually had was going to actually mean more, be more, go further. When they realized it didn't, they were disappointed, and now they're disgruntled and upset and making a bogus claim.
Now, it says here that DJ AKademiks shared screenshots of the girl's posts, which showed her working for Brandon Tiffeth and Anthony Musa Tiffeth, the sons of Top Dawg, on multiple occasions. I ain't seen these posts.
But I was going, before we went to the next subject,
Yeah.
I was going to use this subject as a segue to insert a new subject of AKademiks and his recent accusations. And I can't believe you just said his name. He got the nerve. Why would he, above all people, even involve himself in this shit when he's talking to little boys crazy online?
Yeah, he's trying to move on from that and just.
But why get involved in something similar? Like this is crazy work.
Management memories with Alameda, but I'm lying. I guess that was the management memories with Alameda was a caption. She typed with a photo of her alongside TDE's newest signee. Quote, but I never worked for TDE. And my legal team, nor I have ever asked for $48 million, neither, nor did another dollar amount. This is why it's hard for women to come forward, but we will let this play out in court with the evidence. So the Jane Doe decided to come forward because she couldn't keep her mouth shut.
Man, well, hey man, that's crazy work, Alex.
Well, we'll keep an eye on that. Just for everyone to know, Brandon Tiffeth is related to the CEO, which is Anthony Tiffeth Sr., and then Anthony Tiffeth Jr. is the CMO of Top Dawg Entertainment. And I think that there's a good chance that they might be victorious in this lawsuit, or they could just go the other route, write a check for $100,000 and end the whole thing.
And I think that's probably what the people making the complaints are assuming and shooting for.
It says here that the two women are they said that they were employees subjecting, I'm putting this in quotes because the article says it, subjecting the women to sexual harassment and assault and unwanted sexual advances. What's a sexual advance?
That was my point that I was trying to say earlier, because in the workplace, doesn't the company establish if fraternizing is acceptable or not? And if that is the exact company and they allow flirting, if you don't like to be flirted with, maybe you should not be there.
And we'll end this segment on their attorney's quote. Marty Singer, TDE's attorney, responded to the suit and slammed the ladies for trying to extort their clients. He said, "This is a clear example of a shakedown lawsuit by Linda Luna and Aya Altayri, Altayri, who made a demand of $48 million through their attorneys on fabricated claims, and whose attorneys are looking for their 10 minutes of fame." That's TDE's attorney. And there ain't no way on God's green earth that these women are ever going to get anywhere close to $48 million. Even if everything is true, it's not $48 million in damages.
But that's the way lawsuits are usually done. You shoot high, and you never really expect, from my understanding, to get the number you actually going looking for.
Yeah, you don't get that number, but like, for example, I worked on a case with Carl Douglas, who you'll see in the OJ Simpson documentary if you worked on it. He filed a wrongful death lawsuit against the LAPD for $15 million. That was the request, $15 million. And if you look at wrongful death lawsuits, they usually don't go as high as 15, but it could be 15. But most of them end up, $3 million, $5 million, $7 million. So he went high, but he went at a number that is possible to get, because we have seen numbers that go that high, but most of them go a little lower. I have never seen anywhere near $48 million.
My strategy believes if you want $1 million, ask for 48. You might end up with 15.
The most they're gonna get is in the 6 digits.
Hundreds of thousands.
Yeah, definitely. All right.
Okay.
What were you gonna say?
No, I mean that's your prediction. I don't.
You think they might get low 7s?
That is that's an assumption, that's a feeling, and that's not a fact. We are on Factz Ova Feelinz at this moment, so we don't want to just state that out there on Alex's expertise. But that is what he bets.
Well, I don't know if these women have receipts.
I don't imagine that a $48 million lawsuit, if that is indeed been what's been, because they just denied that they were requesting that much. If that's indeed was what was being requested, I don't believe any lawyer in their right mind would settle for a 6-figure settlement.
Yeah.
I don't even think he could get his fees out of that if he thought he's charging them more than 6 figures to get his fees.
Well, it does. I don't know how popular the two women's attorneys are. The two women's attorney could be some dude straight out of law school that's brand new, fresh.
Yeah, but that'd just be another assumption too, though.
Yeah, but I'm saying if it's a lawyer that is not high profile, $100,000 is a decent payout. Because most lawyers got multiple cases.
If a lawyer would assume $100,000 a decent payout, I don't think they would waste them time drawing up papers that indicated $48 million as a desire.
Well, the ladies are denying that.
Yeah, but I mean that we're still basing the conversation off that number.
Okay. Well, I said we were going to wrap this part up, but I was going to read something else. But we'll move on to let's talk about Kendrick Lamar.
Not what the Grammys.
Yeah, the Grammys.
Like couldn't fit them all in his hands.
Well, I mean, he won 5 Grammys off of one song. I don't know if that's. I'm sure someone may have done that before. Maybe Michael Jackson has done it.
Probably.
Well, I know Michael Jackson's won multiple Grammys off of one album, Thriller.
But one song.
One song.
What we got to think about? What would be the one record that we believe may have be a record like that?
Thriller. Thriller had the video, but I don't even know if these. Let me read the categories that he won. Some of these categories didn't exist in 1984. Song of the Year, he won. He won for Record of the Year.
Easy.
He won.
What's the difference between a song and a record? Don't know.
It sounds a little redundant.
Yeah, I did. Go ahead though.
Best Rap Song of the Year, which is also redundant.
Well, no, to the degree, if you just said rap song first, it wouldn't be.
Yeah.
But when you said it the other way, it sounds redundant.
But if there is some overlap between Best Song of the Year, Best Rap Song of the Year.
Yeah, when you announce Song of the Year first, it sounds like you're going redundant.
But Song of the Year is all genres.
That's why. Yeah. That's why when you announce the Song of the Year first, it sounds redundant. If you started with rap song, that's a select category. And then if you would have went to Song of the Year next, that's more of a, you feel me?
Yeah. Okay. And then the fourth one, Best Rap Performance.
Would you think that the pop-up?
Probably the pop-up. I was thinking the music video, but then he also received the fifth one for Best Music Video.
But the pop-up in the video was kind of like combined, too. I think some of the pop-up performance was...
And I didn't even know you could win a Grammy for performing.
I believe when you said new categories, I thought that was one of them.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't kept track. I know in 1984 when Michael Jackson was winning his Grammys, first of all, rap wasn't even on the
list.
It wasn't even a thing. I'm not even sure if you won a Grammy for music video back then, because music videos were brand new when MTV did their thing in 1981. So it must have took a while. But yeah, Michael Jackson would have won a video, the best music video, if that was a category in '84, which it wasn't, because Thriller, he won everything for Thriller, and that was like a 14-minute. That was like a short movie.
Do we know how many Grammys Drake has went home with in one night?
Oh no, I feel like Drake is. Drake's career is not going anywhere at this point. He has to do something incredibly amazing to revive it.
Well, I don't know if it's his actual career that's in that state, but his image amongst just the real niggas, yeah. But I believe Drake can go anywhere and get an arena full of young white women that's not going to give a fuck about what he's going through with Kendrick as far as taking his L.
And if he comes out with an album that has a lot of hits, people forget.
Yeah, short memory these days.
And I think a good example of that was when the rapper Rick Ross was being scrutinized for being a CO. And people were saying, oh, his career is over. He's rapping about being a drug dealer and he's rapping about gangster stuff. He just continued to put out hits.
It's like it never slowed him down.
Nah, he put out hits and people forgot about it.
Yeah.
And there were people saying his career was going to be over.
Yeah, I would assume. Yeah, one person in particular.
Who's that?
50.
Oh.
Yeah, he was on the bumper about all
Was
that.
50 and the rapper Rick Ross doing their back and forth back in like 06?
Yeah. When Rick Ross came on the scene, that's when 50 was calling him Officer Ricky, trolling him.
Oh, from the very beginning of his career then.
Don't make me date it as 06, but it was way back.
Well, I think his first hit was
BMF. Oh no,
Hustle.
Hustle. Every day
I'm hustling.
Every day I'm hustling.
I want to say that was 05.
Okay.
And then it just seemed like maybe a year after that, the whole CO allegations.
If I recall, I believe it's how petty I believe it had started. They had supposed to have been at the same place somewhere and either did or did not acknowledge one another, and then one of them went somewhere and said he walked by me and didn't say nothing. It started off with something petty like that.
Okay, Drake says he's very much alive as he breaks his silence following Kendrick Lamar's Grammy wins.
Yay for Drake not being dead.
I mean, were people really thinking that he was going to do something?
It's just, I guess he has to show, you got to make some type of gesture to show you're not bothered. Whether you're bothered or not, you got to come across to appear unbothered.
Okay, and none of these Grammys have anything to do with GNX.
That might be next year.
Yeah, I think if you put it out at the end of a year, it's eligible for consideration the following year. And when did that drop? December or November?
Like November, I think. Yeah.
Okay. So, man, Kendrick is he is holding the throne, and his tour coming up, and I'm assuming he's going to drop another album.
I think I've heard so.
He's going to be also probably the top dude in 2025.
Right on, K-Dot. Right on. Do your thing, young man.
And K-Dot is not with TDE anymore, is he?
I don't believe officially as far as the way the deal was structured from the beginning, but I don't think it's no separation between the people, the members, and the camp, the actual way they thugging, though.
Okay.
But I've heard reports of that his business is structured different at this point.
All right. Well, congratulations to Kendrick Lamar, 5 Grammys. He is the Michael Jackson of rap right now.
Big congrats to K-Dot.
Hey, how many Grammys you think Michael Jackson had won over the years? I'm gonna look it up.
Just because you asked me and I have no way to guess, I'm gonna say 30.
I don't think it's that many Grammys.
Okay.
I'm gonna say 15.
Okay.
Let's see. A lot of times people get confused with nomination with actual wins. Michael Jackson Grammys. Let's see. Okay, according to Wikipedia,
Okay.
Michael Jackson has won 13 Grammys.
You was almost on the nose.
And most of them were for Thriller.
Oh, okay.
Let me see here. Wow, he was nominated 38 times. All right, here, I got the list of his whole... Wikipedia did a good job with the list of...
You ain't got to go too deep into Michael Jackson. It ain't really about him.
I know, but he won 13 out of 38 nominations.
You must be a big Michael Jackson fan.
When I think of Grammys, and the Kendrick Lamar photo, he's holding all the Grammys, and there's a picture of Michael Jackson back in the day, kind of doing the same thing.
Okay, that's where you get it from.
With the multiple Grammys. And then there's a funny line that Kendrick Lamar has on his song. What song was that? I think he says, "Prince outlived Mike Jack."
Oh yeah, he sure did.
Prince outlived Mike Jack. All right. Your boy 50 Cent, who you used to be signed to back in the day, is going back and forth with Big Meech.
Yeah, buddy, it's crazy.
And maybe I would say they're both going back and forth with each other because, let's start off with, you talked about this on the Black Box, Spider. He posted something about Big Meech being a rap.
Yep.
Having to do with Tammy
Cohen
and
Cuffy. And what it is allegedly Tammy Cohen is kind of like Des Perez. She's definitely a female that's a fly bitch that was working with these kingpins and using and fucking with the feds, fucking niggas over. They have that in common.
So was she ratting people out on other cases outside of this BMF stuff?
Well, I'm not an expert on the subject, but I heard other people like J Diggs and Al Prophet speak on the subject. Shout out to both of those gentlemen. And apparently, yes, she was working outside of these situations. She was on board. She was fucking around. She was a CS.
Okay. And then somehow she was able to look, we talked about Big Meech's case. I'm not sure if it was straight politicking or if it was or if Munchie spoke about it on Rich at Heart, but he had hired a new lawyer. And we were under the belief that this new lawyer was going to be filing some motions to get Big Meech released early. But now it sounds like, did Tammy Cowan provide some information to the feds that part of the deal was I give you this information and then you release Big Meech early?
Well, all the people that I've heard speak on it that are even the most suspicious that Big Meech is all bad, they're saying whatever efforts they believe that he was doing was not successful in helping him get out any shorter time. But they still saying he did some bullshit, but it was like almost a waste of time. It didn't actually help him. He got out early due to something else.
Okay, but do we know how he got out early?
I cannot articulate it, but I've heard it explained to an extent where it made some sense to me, but I just cannot repeat it or recall exactly what was told to me. But when I heard it, I was like, oh, okay.
But it seems like they're saying Tammy Cowan has something to do with that.
That's what they were saying she was trying to do. Just like they would be, because even the method in which they say she tried, she tried to set Cuffy up, but they're not even saying she was successful with that. But they saying throughout her trying to set Cuffy up, the feds got on his line and he ended up getting found guilty of some other shit. So I don't think it's about being successful as much as making an attempt.
So why all of a sudden would 50 Cent post a photo on Instagram of a rat and then making a reference to Big Meech?
Well, apparently it's the same age-old 50 Cent story. He got extremely displeased with Game for taking photographs with individuals in the industry, rappers in particular, that he considered ops. Rick Ross falls into that category. Recently, Meech been politicking with Rick Ross, the rapper. So it seems that 50 did not appreciate that to an extent as to why he would do that.
Okay. Well, I'm not surprised that Big Meech would tap in with Rick Ross. I'm sure Rick Ross been trying to tap in with Big Meech over the years. In fact, he put him in a song, I Think I'm Big Meech.
And
Larry Hoover.
Months before Big Meech was arrested, he told me personally his desire for a rapper to like take on his image and his legacy and tell his story through them. So I know for a fact Big Meech, whenever he heard that song for the first time, I know that shit made his heart feel like this, bro. I know personally.
And he was in the feds when that song came out.
He was in the feds. And prior to going to the feds, he let me know, I know I'm on my way, Spider. I know they coming to get me. And he told me the thing that'll make it all worth it was if a rapper was to do what I just described. And the closest thing we got to that was Rick Ross making that song.
Okay, so were you able to hang out with him down in Atlanta, or was he here in L.A.?
Well, I met him here in L.A., in Gardena specifically, and then I actually spent some time with him in Miami, and I believe Atlanta is only Atlanta. I think Atlanta, just Miami and Atlanta, but the majority of the time that I got to be around them in their heyday was in Miami. In New York, too, but Blue in particular used to come to New York. When he was in New York, he used to come to the G-Unit office and fuck with me. Yeah, we might leave and go holler at Meech.
Which Blue?
Blue Davinci.
Oh, okay, Blue Davinci.
Yeah, Blue Davinci.
Okay, Blue Davinci was definitely part of the BMF squad back then.
Oh, definitely, definitely. He met Meech around 1999. I met him around the same time.
And he was there as an artist, and I guess Big Meech had plans of creating the BMF record label.
Yeah, shout out Wino from 190. Me, myself, Blue Davinci, my homie Spade. We was all rapping with Wino, and it got to a point where that shit wasn't really doing what we all hoped it would do. We was kind of frustrated. And Blue started popping it just like this. Hey, man, y'all should come fuck with me. I met some niggas. They gonna do my music shit, but they don't give a fuck about no music because they get money. That was the initial way he was popping it.
So that's risky because if music is not the priority for a group of guys that got money, it just sounds like maybe that's just something they want to do to legitimize their money rather than really push the music.
But they was really putting the money into it.
Yeah.
And what happened was the feds got on their bumpers so early. It was known throughout the industry. The feds had contacted all the major labels and told them, you better not do it. Because BMF was marketing himself as, we don't want no money. We got our own money. We just need your system. And I think that was like unheard of ever in the industry.
So was Blue Davinci going to be one of the first artists on BMF?
Yes, Meech has documentaries back in the day where he did interviews and he explained and described. He said a lot of people take $1 million and they get 3-4 artists and try to blow them up. He said, no, we gonna take $1 million and put it in one artist, because all that focus that million could do with these dudes, no, all concentrated on one. It's gonna make that situation bigger, and then we can launch out and make. That was his philosophy.
Yeah.
So Blue had a very, very large stage to hold down solo.
But the feds were watching all along.
Yeah, I remember being in a strip club with BMF, and me and Blue was kind of like off to the side from the crowd. And I swear to God, it was 2 white boys in there with like fitted caps on, polo shirts. They wasn't drinking. They wasn't tipping. They was staring at the BMF crew, just watching. And that nigga Blue tapped me. He was like, Spider, let me show you how we do the feds. He just started throwing money on them. Because in the club, they was rapping like the BMF music. So it was like BMF, it was like Blue verse. He rapping his verse, and he throwing money on the feds. The money is falling on their hat. They must have had, now I'm thinking about it, cameras or something, because they was sitting like this, just staring. Even when the money would fall right here, they wouldn't flinch, knock it off or nothing. They just keep staring.
But you're basically taunting the most powerful government on earth to come arrest your ass.
But this is what I'm telling you. At this same period of time, Meech already told me, I know they're coming. He wasn't like he thought they was coming. He was suspicious they was coming. He knew they was coming. So in my way I gather it all, it was already too late. That's like telling the police, fuck you while you getting handcuffs on you. It was already done.
But maybe Blue Davinci thought, I'm a rapper. I'm not involved in nothing criminal under BMF. They're not going to come for me. I'm just a rapper.
Well, I know he would never want to admit that, because if that were the case, and it may be, that's not the way Blue was pushing it. Blue was pushing like he was heavy D-boy too. So if he had that in the back of his mind, none of us would never know that, because he never claimed, he claimed to be heavy in the game like everybody else. And if I can recall correctly, I might be wrong, I thought Blue's initial charges for like getting fake IDs, because I know a nigga from the opposite side of BMF, the 263 side, named T. Biles from Nashville, and he was indicted on the BMF indictment, and his whole charge was about getting fake IDs. And back then, him and Blue was real tight. And I thought, and my memory served me correct, I thought him and Blue had the same charges. I thought Blue's charges had nothing to do with narcotics whatsoever. However, I thought he was charged with facilitating and being involved with fake IDs and things of that nature. I could be totally wrong. It's been quite some time.
Well, whatever his charge was, he only took, I don't want to say only, but 5 years, which was very small compared to what they gave the other guys.
Substantial in reality, but in comparison, yeah, it's extremely small.
Big Meech and his brother and a few other guys was getting 20 up to 30 years. So obviously the feds knew that he wasn't a huge part of the criminal enterprise, but if you're a part of anything, they're gonna hit you with something.
Correct. And then I've seen another individual, can't recall his name, but he was real close to Meech. And he was saying the whole structure was nobody y'all saw was part of it. All that was smoke and mirrors. Y'all, they was looking like they was D-boys, thugging out here, popping bottles. None of them people was really part of the operation for the most part. That was all to throw off the peoples.
Well, I later found out the Campanella Park Pirus got indicted in a BMF in 2006. What year was the first BMF indictment with Big Meech? That would have been like
6 or 7, I think.
02. No, I thought it was more like 02, 03.
Oh, I don't know nothing about that early.
When did Big Meech get arrested?
I didn't sign the G until 05, and I was hanging with Meech. Fully signed in 05.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So he got arrested around. Okay, so
I met him in 99, but I was still hanging with him when I was signing G Unit, and that didn't happen till 05.
Okay. So all these guys got arrested, and then when the Campanella Park Pirus got arrested in '07, maybe, in the indictment it says that they were supplying the work to BMF. So I guess bro was buying stuff from California.
Anybody in the game, when they come to California, it's never to sell dope. The whole legacy of California dope is about us taking it elsewhere or people coming here to get it. So the fact that he had a Cali plug don't surprise me.
Yeah, but how does the guy that Big Meech is the guy with the plug in Cali ends up making more money than everybody?
No, just because that was the plug don't mean he was the plug. He was the plug to the plug, probably the middleman. And the plug probably wasn't trying to meet Meech. And that's probably how he was eating. You feel me?
Oh, you're right. October 2005. Yeah. So the Campanella Park BMF indictment, I think, was '07. That's when we had Kenzo on the phone.
Yeah, I couldn't think his name. Kenzo. Yeah. Shout out to him.
Kenzo had to do like 11 years on that.
Hope he has something put up, man.
With 85%, of course. I think, I'm not sure. I don't remember if he did like 9 or something, 8 or 9.
I ain't did no bunch of time. But it's crazy. 11 years does blow by. My brother been in jail 20 years this year. Like, free big SPI. That shit. I know that sound crazy.
It says here that
blow by.
That when Big Meech was arrested, the DEA seized $3 million in cash and assets, 2.5 kilos of cocaine, and many weapons. Flannery, which is Big Meech, was captured in a large home outside of Dallas. Police also found marijuana, MDMA pills in the house. Oh, he was doing a little bit of everything. Pills, weed, cocaine. That's why
the party. That's the party.
All right, man. I didn't even talk about Big Meech's response to 50 Cent. So we all know about the Instagram post, basically because I guess he didn't like him in the picture with Rick Ross, the rapper.
And 50 got in his feelings.
Yeah. And then
50 got a lot of monumental moments of photographs that he don't appreciate. He didn't like his son taking a picture with Preem's son. He didn't like Game taking pictures with certain artists. He didn't like Young Buck taking pictures of certain artists at certain times. Now here it is again, brand new. A photograph really can cause 50 to be irritated.
So Big Meech posted a picture that he took with him and 50, but on the photo, he put a rat and a piece of cheese over 50 Cent face, and then in light blue letters he wrote "Internet Gangster," and a Ja Rule song is playing in the background.
Clap
back. So
I wonder if Ja Rule is added to the roster of any of these festivities they finna have. I know Rick Ross got his car show coming up. Big Meech got his party on the 13th. I wonder if Ja Rule is on the guest list.
All right, let me read a couple of the comments here. He's not an internet gangster. He's a guy who made your son very famous and added a bigger legacy to your name, and you did business with him with an opposition of his who did nothing for you but shout you out in a song.
Made his dreams come true. That's what y'all don't get. That was a dream of Meech. He was finna go face the feds when 50 was scared to with him. I used to try to get 50 to unite with Meech, try to introduce him. When 50 went on a campaign on the internet and they asked him, well, why you didn't with Meech before? He said the most corniest shit in the world. He said, oh, I didn't want to go around that because I know me, I would have wanted to cop bricks. You thought Meech respected that? That shit sounded goofy, corny as fuck, bro.
All right, another person wrote, 50 a loyal dude, Meech is also, but 50 Cent got a side that he chose. The streets chose Meech, and everybody loved Meech from the streets. So we love 50 from his music and movies, but Meech feed everybody. That's the different. Meech get love in New York, and he don't got beef.
50 got played. When Meech was out here, you were scared of him. You didn't want to take no risk to fuck with him. Then, once he got that time and you thought you could be all benefit with no risk, you was all in and you thought you was going to get some G strikes up for being affiliated with Meech, and all the time the joke was on you. That's crazy.
Hey, in 2013, I wrote Big Meech a letter just to like learn more about him as the person. And like literally like 3 or 4 days later, dude wrote me a whole letter.
That's crazy.
And it has Big Meech signature on the bottom. I didn't know what to do. I wasn't even expecting bro to write me back, and I regret not continuing the relationship.
Yeah, you're supposed to do that.
I know I was supposed to do that, but I was like, damn, Big Meech actually wrote back.
That's crazy. When I first heard the BMF announcement with the 50 Cent shit, I wrote him a letter. Shout out to my nigga Boss Spook, CNR Clothing. Because at one point, the dude from CNR Clothing had posted a letter where he sent it to me because Big Meech wrote him and told him, like, damn, I see you got the homie Spider in your clothes. That's dope. So I knew he knew Meech. So at the time when I heard that BMF shit, I had talked to Spook and noticed, I don't know how long. I got Meech's address and I wrote him a letter. But my letter was short as fuck. I'm like, what up, man? I ain't gonna disrespect you, ask you, do you need something? I know you straight. But hey, that nigga 50 to do me right. That's the whole letter.
Is that right?
Yeah, so I'm happy to see, I ain't gonna lie, because I'm happy to see this shit go like this. Oh, my mama.
I think the reason why I wrote him, because there was a girl on Instagram in 2013 that she was a stripper, but she was saying, I'm Big Meech's wife. You know, I represent Big Meech. And I was like, is that even possible? Like, who is this woman? So I wanted to ask him, and I was communicating with her because I was going to do an interview. I think that's what it was. And he confirmed, oh, yeah, that's my girl. Yeah. So maybe I didn't know what else to address with him.
That's great. He wrote you back, but I know what kind of letters you wrote. Thanks again. I want to tell you in front of the world, thank you, because you wrote a very eloquent letter on my behalf. And TSA got back very favorably after I had wrote them every 90 days for the last 2 years. They shot my shit down. Big Meech didn't respond to my letter either.
Oh, he didn't?
Nah, so your letter writing skills is a motherfucker, bro.
No, I still got the letter. I have like a binder where I put letters into plastic sleeves, clear sleeves, like just letters of just my history of dealing with people that are incarcerated. It don't matter if you're a Big Meech or if you a dude from the section. I save all my letters in binders. They're handwritten. Obviously, when you get in a letter from prison, they're all handwritten. Right. And I love seeing a handwritten letter because we don't do that no more. Everything's digital. Bro, everything's typed.
They don't make people like you that appreciate certain shit so much, man. I wish I got that much joy out of life, bro. You appreciate so many things that I just walk by, take for granted. That's got to be a rich experience to actually be able to look at an old letter and actually be like, I appreciate this. That's crazy.
And that's why I have them in the binder, and Big Meech's letter is in there. Only got one. And I'm like, why didn't I continue this relationship? But when I go back and read them, they're enjoyable to me. Like, oh, wow, I remember when the homie wrote this to me.
That's hard.
From such and such prison. All right, man. Another Factz Ova Feelinz in the can. How you feeling?
That felt good. I can't believe you asked me that. I was just going to say that felt good. I was kind of nervous, thinking it was going to be choppy, getting back at it. Not quite used to this format anymore, but you made it real easy, natural. I look forward to the next one. Factz Ova Feelinz, y'all. Y'all know where you keep up with me when I'm not here. Spider Loc Most Easty Black Box. That's the YouTube channel. And on IG, it's Spider Loc Most Easty, the number 7. Cliche 93 TV.